Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to another epic video. And today we're going to be talking Man United. They're probably my favorite club in the world, and now I'm going to say, public message, hey Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, please listen to this. How to save Man United. Now, before we begin, please like and subscribe, blah 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 blah, and let's get in how we can save the likely best club in the world from a storm that's coming of Europa Leagues, trophy drought, and Phil Jones. Anyway, let's get into it. Now, Man United have been a bit of headline news in the sports world lately, and that's because of this guy. Ever heard of him? Well, if you haven't, that means you're probably living under a rock for the past 20 years, but his name is Cristiano Ronaldo. Probably the best football player ever, in my opinion at least, and he's returned to Man United for less than 30 million, surprisingly. Pretty big impact, but anyway, even Ronaldo can't save United. But I will tell you who can and how Ronaldo can effectively use his skills to save United. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. The man who was supposed to bring United back to the days class of 92 and Sir Alex Ferguson. Oh, how it all went horribly wrong. We're losing to Aston Villa. What even is Aston Villa? We're drawing to Everton, and supposedly what was supposed to be our best player last season is shooting penalties out of the stadium. And honestly, I think Ole is probably the biggest factor in all this. He's certainly not a bad manager, but in the essence that he's not very good either. I mean, we came so close to winning a trophy last season, the Europa League, which I'm saying is an absolute disgrace to such a great club for being in the Europa League anyway, but we could have still won it. And we lost in the final on penalties. Like, seriously, what is this? So I'm gonna say, sorry Ole, you've had your chance. We'll give you, I think that United should give him a little bit more chances, but only until November, because that's when the Champions League group stage gets crucial. And that's because being knocked out of the Champions League in the group stage would be an awful disgrace to the most decorated club in English football history. And however, that does seem quite likely now. And you might say, oh, but Ronaldo can save us. No, he can't. He tried to win the Champions League at Juventus, but his teammates just were not on the same level as him. He got frustrated, didn't want to play his best anymore. And there's another thing which I need to discuss to do with United's problem. To anyone that can hear and see, Sir Alex Ferguson is the greatest football manager of all time, by ginormously far. He won the most trophies, had the most success, and is a generally good person who takes care of his players. Now, if anybody can pay attention to anything, it's that United's problems started the second Sir Alex Ferguson left. Of course, it was a combination of factors that were coming on. The class of 92 all reaching their grey hair days and retiring. Sir Alex Ferguson himself retiring from management. But you might ask, oh yeah, but Fergie can come back. Unfortunately, he can't. He's almost 80 years old. Managing a football club like United is an extremely stressful job, which I think Fergie would prefer just to put on his woolly socks, relax, and watch telly. We can't blame him for that, after he's done so much. But ever since Fergie left, things have been disastrous at United. We've gone through manager after manager, supposed star player after star player, and nobody's been able to deliver. Fergie, if only you could come back. But Fergie can't come back. He'll just enjoy watching the match from the sidelines and giving Ole a good yelling for his disastrous job. But now let's think about it. Who could possibly bring United back to the great level they achieved under Ferguson and the great class of 92? Who could possibly do this? Well, not Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but who? But who is a question that's just ringing in my ears. And I'm just wondering, if United can't win a single trophy this season, I'm quite sure that Cristiano Ronaldo will leave, so will Edinson Cavani, and we'll be in the same terrible position that we were in 2014, 2015, or something like that. Nowadays, football is centered around the transfer market. So, who should United sign? It's been said for a really long while now that United need a defensive midfielder. So, some think that this should be Declan Rice. However, I disagree. United need action and they need it fast. Declan Rice may be okay, but he's still a raw and reckless young player. We don't know whether he'll become the next superstar or the next Phil Jones. Now, let's see who I think should be United's new defensive midfielder. Kante, N'Golo Kante. Yep, who else? I'm surprised that nobody's thought of bringing Kante to United yet. I mean, he's won the Champions League, won the Premier League with multiple clubs, and is a fantastic defensive midfielder, fantastic person. But some would say, oh, but Kante is old. So, United have already proven that age isn't a problem for them. They've already signed Cristiano Ronaldo and Edinson Cavani, which are basically living dinosaurs. But they've done pretty well. And Kante, who's just fresh from winning his Champions League with Chelsea, could be crucial to United. I really think that United should go big on Kante in the mid-season transfer window. Because of how loyal N'Golo is, I'm not sure if he'd even want to join United, but considering that he made the swap from Leicester to Chelsea, he might just do Chelsea to United, and it would transform the future of the club, and he would go down as one of the all-time greats, almost certainly. And now, let's move on to the next player I think United should really take interest in. Kylian Mbappe. He's a fantastic forward, and I really think United should get him. Why? Because just next summer, he'll be free if he does not extend with PSG. Well, some say that he will, some say that he won't. He'll get to fulfill his dream at United of becoming the world's best. You might ask, but Mbappe wants to go to United. Well, I ask you this. United and Real Madrid have probably the best transfer relations of any two clubs in the world. There are multiple reasons why Kylian could sign for United. Firstly, he's a fantastic forward, like I already said. And it's a good move for Kylian as well, as he will get to play alongside his greatest childhood hero, Cristiano Ronaldo. Also, he would get to follow in Ronaldo's footsteps and likely eventually go to Real Madrid after a few seasons. And then there's the fact, then some may ask, where will Ronaldo play? Well, I think that if you look back at Ronaldo's prime, he almost always played as a winger during his greatest days at the Santiago Bernabeu when he won 3 Champions Leagues in a row. And that way, Eddie Cavani could play as a striker alongside Kylian Mbappe, and Ronaldo could be killing it on the left wing. And think about it, United are one of the few clubs in the world that can pull off a move like this. And just imagine, Eddie Cavani, Paul Pogba, Cristiano Ronaldo, Marcus Rashford, Jadon Sancho, seeing them all in action together would be like playing fantasy football or FIFA Ultimate Team. It would just be fantastic. And then there's a few players which United should really offload. And the biggest one, who I regret making a bit of fun of in this video, is Phil Jones. I mean, he's been absolutely bad as a player. Hasn't really achieved anything great with United, but at the same time, I do understand that he's a human being with feelings. Even though his his expressions make him look a bit like an alien. And I just remember how hyped he was a few years ago. He was said to be one of the Premier League's upcoming next greatest defenders. Well, that didn't happen, did it? But I believe everyone deserves a chance at redemption. So why don't United ship Phil Jones off on loan to a smaller Premier League club where he'll get more minutes? And also, or they could sell him and then one day maybe buy him back should he find his form. So that's what I think United should do with Phil Jones. I don't think there's any need for him to stay at United, as he probably won't get many minutes and he hasn't exactly been playing well and it's a lot of pressure anyway. And then I think that United should, Mason Greenwood, he's a great player, has achieved very much, and he's only so young. So I think that United could capitalise on that, and maybe send him off on loan to gain more minutes, and also to raise more money for a super transfer like the one of Kylian Mbappe or N'Golo Kante. And also, Mason Greenwood is a great player. Yes, wouldn't it be more beneficial for both Greenwood and United for him to go off on loan or to sell him to a slightly smaller club where he could achieve more under a manager which will give him more playing time? And then think about this. Similar to Ronaldo's return, give it a couple of years, Mason Greenwood could come back to United as a totally changed player who's one of the most impactful forwards in the world. And now let's talk Edinson Cavani. I think United do have a big overload of forwards, but Edinson Cavani is definitely among those which should really remain at United. However, it really doesn't look like Eddie will be here by the time next season starts. But I think that Edinson is a fantastic player and could possibly end his career here at Old Trafford. And I mean, he can achieve so much with probably a better manager than Oli, teammates like Mbappe and Ronaldo and Pogba. And while he may have scored 15 goals last season, which was pretty good, but I mean, he can do better. But I think this is the chance for Edinson to become one of the top forwards in the world, even better than he already is. And I think that he really deserves better than Oli. He hasn't played very much and he's been getting injured. I think that Edinson can really find a return to form at United. Now let's talk Bruno Fernandes. Bruno is a fantastic player and a true hero of United. He had a fantastic season last season, coming from a player who basically came from nothing to superstardom. And I think that Bruno has been pretty good this season. Compared to last season, he hasn't been doing the best that he can really do. While I'm totally against Bruno leaving United, I do think he could be used a little bit differently. Like perhaps, I think that with Mbappe, should he sign for United, or Cavani pulling the strings as a striker, whereas Ronaldo having slightly more freedom to do things himself as a left winger, that way Bruno will be able to, step a bit out of Ronaldo's shadow and do a bit more things by himself. Yeah. And back to Cristiano Ronaldo. I really do think Ronaldo can play as a left winger well. He can link up well, and Rashford can play slightly deeper as a left midfielder, and that would work really well. Pogba, Ronaldo, Rashford, Bruno, Cavani, and maybe Mbappe. What a fantastic attacking system. But this team will be absolutely useless without a really good manager to control it. And at the moment, it doesn't look like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Well, if Ole is able to turn things around before it's too late, that would be fantastic. But let's just see which other managerial candidates are available. First of all, let's discuss Zinedine Zidane. After leaving Real Madrid because he felt that the directors were no longer confident in him, Zidane is still vacant. It would be fantastic for him to come to United. While he has previously denied interest in United, maybe this time will be different. And I think Zidane will do a fantastic job having won Champions League as a player and a manager. And now, let's discuss another good candidate, Antonio Conte. Like Zidane, Conte also left his club. After a successful Serie A spell at Inter, he is now vacant. He's a great manager with Premier League experience. Whether it's Zidane or Conte or Ole, which will bring United back to the top, or whether United can't go to the top at all, which would be sad, it's uncertain. What we do know is that United are a fantastic team with fantastic history, and whoever is in charge of United's future will need to protect that great history. That's it for today, folks. Please like and subscribe, and see you later.